It started with a gut feeling. It always does, doesn't it? Some imperceptible shift in tone, a certain softness in her voice when she'd say, "I'll be out for lunch with a friend." The kind of softness you only notice if you've heard the sharp edges before, the ones you thought you had dulled over years of devotion. Laura and I had been married for 8 years. 8 years of morning coffees, whispered dreams, and the silent understanding that comes from knowing someone so completely. I thought we were solid. Sure, we had our disagreements, but who doesn't? I chalked it up to the natural wear and tear of life. That was before the late-night text I accidentally saw, her phone resting beside me on the couch. "Can't stop thinking about today." The message was from a number I didn't recognize. When I asked her about it, she brushed it off with a nervous laugh. "It's nothing. Just a group chat. You know how girls can be." I nodded, but I didn't press further. That night, lying in bed beside her, staring at the ceiling, I knew something was wrong. Something was very, very wrong. Weeks passed. Her lunch dates became more frequent, her excuses vaguer. I couldn't ignore it anymore. I did something I'm not proud of. I went through her phone one afternoon when she left it unattended. The texts I found weren't just flirty or suggestive. They were explicit. Her friend was someone named Eric. Judging by their messages, these so-called lunches were far more than sandwiches and small talk. I felt a rush, nausea, then rage, then a crushing wave of humiliation. My wife, my Laura, was having an affair. And it wasn't just physical. The texts were dripping with emotional intimacy. The kind of connection we used to have. The kind I thought we still had. For a week, I carried that knowledge in silence, unsure of what to do. Confront her? Pack my bags and leave? Beg her to explain? I did none of those things. Instead, I did something I've never done before. I plotted. It started with research. Some social media digging revealed that Eric was a colleague of hers, a sales rep from a company she had collaborated with on a recent project. He was married, too. I found his wife, Christine, on Facebook. A petite brunette with kind eyes and 2 kids under 5. My heart broke for her. But that didn't stop me. The plan came together faster than I expected. First, I hired a private investigator. Frank. Grizzled. Bulldog face. No nonsense. Frank delivered. Photos of Laura and Eric leaving a hotel together, arms brushing, faces lit up with laughter. Even one of them kissing in her car. Proof. Hard, undeniable proof. Next, I reached out to Christine. "Hi, Christine. This is going to be hard to hear, but I believe your husband Eric is having an affair with my wife, Laura. I've attached photos. I'm sorry to be the one to tell you this." Her reply came an hour later. "Thank you for telling me." The ball was rolling now, and I was no longer in control of where it would stop. But I had one last move. I wanted Laura to see the wreckage she'd caused, to feel the weight of her betrayal. So, I invited her to lunch. "Let's have a date," I said, smiling. "Just the 2 of us. We haven't done that in a while." She seemed relieved, almost eager. Maybe she thought I suspected nothing. Little did she know, it was the calm before the storm. I set the table meticulously. Crisp white tablecloth. Our finest silverware. 2 glasses of wine. On the surface, it looked like romance. In reality, it was a stage. And the centerpiece? A manila envelope filled with every damning piece of evidence Frank had gathered. Laura walked in, smiling, her cheeks still flushed from her lunch date. She froze when she saw the table. Her eyes flicked from the envelope to me. "What's this?" she asked, voice trembling. I didn't answer, just gestured for her to sit. Reluctantly, she did. Her smile now a shadow of what it had been moments before. I slid the envelope across the table. "Open it." She hesitated, then complied. Her jaw clenched as she sifted through the photos and text messages. "I can explain," she stammered. "Explain?" I leaned back, voice calm but sharp. "Explain what? That you've been lying to me for months? Sneaking around with a married man? Treating our marriage like it's disposable?" Tears welled in her eyes. "It's not like that," she whispered. "Then what is it like, Laura?" I demanded, voice rising. Because from where I'm sitting, it looks like you've been having your cake and eating it too. She broke down, sobbing, mumbling apologies that meant nothing. I let her cry, let her sit in the mess she had made. Then I dropped the next bombshell. I've spoken to Christine. Her eyes widened in horror. You what? She knows everything. Just like I do. You've destroyed not one, but two families, Laura. Congratulations. Right then, a knock at the door. Laura turned, fear written all over her face. I stood and opened it. Christine stepped in, calm face, blazing eyes. And behind her, Eric. Laura went pale. What is this? She whispered. This, I said, is closure. The confrontation was ugly. Christine unleashed years of pent-up rage on Eric, who stood there like a deer in headlights. Laura tried to step in, but Christine turned on her like a lioness. Don't you dare justify this, she spat. You're selfish. Deceitful. The words that followed weren't fit for polite company. Eric tried to defend himself, babbling about feeling unappreciated. I cut him off. Unappreciated. I laughed, bitterly. You've got two beautiful kids and a wife who would move heaven and earth for you. And this is how you repay her. By the end, emotions were frayed. Laura and Eric looked like shadows of themselves. Christine and I exchanged a look, a silent agreement. We would walk away from this stronger. The fallout was swift. That night, Laura packed her bags and left. I filed for divorce the next day. Christine did the same. Eric lost his job when Christine sent their employer the evidence. Laura's reputation tanked as word of the affair spread among friends and family. They had no one to blame but themselves. As for me, I won't pretend it was easy. There were nights I cried myself to sleep. Mornings when getting out of bed felt impossible. But over time, the pain faded, replaced by a quiet strength. I started therapy, took up running, reconnected with old friends. A year later, I'm happier than I've been in a long time. I've learned to value myself, to demand honesty, to expect respect. As for Laura and Eric, last I heard, their relationship didn't survive the guilt. Revenge may not be the healthiest motivation, but sometimes it's the catalyst we need to reclaim our power. And reclaim it I did.